What's up, friends? Today I want to work on a beginner back bend set, focusing on spine flexibility and strength. We're going to be doing a lot of stretches, mostly focusing on the back. Spine supports the spinal cord, which is our main current of energy through our nervous system. Let's start at the center of our mat in lotus seated position, taking some deep breaths, just observing where we're at in our body, our mind, feeling the sensations that arise, and then just letting them go. We'll take a moment here. When you're ready, let's get into tabletop position on our hands and our knees. Make sure the knees are directly beneath the hips, and then stretch forward, reaching your arms to the top of the mat, lowering your chest to the mat for a puppy position. This is a great chest opener, a great back bend, a feel-good stretch for the arms. When you're ready, tuck your toes, come up to your elbows, and lift your knees. Take a couple steps forward, and we'll end up in this modified downward-facing dog on our elbows. If you're more advanced, you can lift your legs over your head into cobra pose, bouncing on your forearms, but we will not do that right now. So focus on lifting your tailbone towards the sky, straightening your legs as much as possible while keeping your spine perfectly straight. We'll lift the left leg here and do the same thing, keeping the back straight, reaching the tailbone towards the sky, trying to straighten that right leg, then switching to raising the right leg towards the sky, keeping the back straight, trying to strengthen the leg on the ground. A little bit of balance is at play here, with the weight on the elbows mostly. When you're ready, we'll go back to tabletop position and drop our belly into cow pose. Letting the tailbone stretch up, keeping the hips directly over the knees. Lifting the chest, lifting the head, reaching that crown towards the sky. For added balance, stretch out your right arm to the front of your mat and lift that left foot, keeping your thigh parallel to the mat. We'll do the other side. Just keep your body, the line from your knee to your raised hand, as straight as possible. Stretching, trying to get as much space and oxygen between the vertebrae as possible. Lower down. We'll go back to tabletop for a moment, then raise our knees for plank. Keeping our back straight, our abs tightened, our glutes tightened, legs straight and body strong. We'll lower down into a push-up and raise our chest into a baby cobra. This is a great back bend for just warming up, And when you're ready, we'll lift up to a full upward facing dog with the knees off the ground, maybe swinging the body back and forth, really stretching that spine, lifting the crown of the head to the sky. Good. Now let's lower all the way down to our belly and grab hold of the top of our feet with both hands. Using the strength of our legs as well as our chest, we'll lift, opening our chest, lifting our thighs, reaching the feet and the crown of the head up towards the sky for bow pose. Breathe deeply here. Keep pressure on your hands with your feet to lift even higher and get an even better stretch. Great job. Now we'll tuck our feet and raise into a full downward facing dog just for a moment. Keep your weight evenly distributed in your hands and the balls of your feet, reaching the tailbone for the sky. Step forward to the top of the mat and lift up vertebra by vertebra to standing. We'll stay here for a moment and take note of our breathing and the sensations we're feeling. Reach our hands up to the sky. Take a little mini back bend. Breathing deeply into mountain pose. Rooting down into the feet. And then diving into a forward fold to neutralize those back bends. Go ahead and place your hands anywhere on your legs except your knees for halfway lift. And reach up again for mountain pose. You can put your hands into prayer. Take a deep breath. Then reach for your foot with the same leg. Raise the opposite arm. And start hinging forward, stretching that thigh, lifting the foot towards the sky, reaching the arm to the front of your mat, reaching the crown of your head towards the sky. Just picturing yourself growing towards the sky here, rooting into that standing foot. Now you are in dancer's pose. To help with balance, keep your gaze fixed on a point in front of you. You can put your lifted hand into Gya Mudra to help with focus and remembering to breathe into your belly. Now let go of the posture. Go back to standing on both feet. And we'll do dancer's pose on the opposite side. Here I'm using the opposite arm to hold my raised leg. This might be preferable for you. Just make sure to do the same thing on both sides. This is a little more challenging for me. I'm just showing you for example. You can see that I fell out of it. If you fall out of your pose, just get right back to it. When you're done, go ahead and kick out that leg that you were bending. When you're ready, we'll slowly lower down to the mat, keeping our core strong to lower with control. We'll reach our fingers towards our heels and lift our hips into bridge pose. Pressing with our feet, keeping our legs close together as possible, keeping the glutes strong and the weight on the shoulders. Go ahead and lift the right leg, reach it towards the sky if that feels good to you. We'll switch to the other side. Raise that left leg to the sky, pressing into our arms, pushing with our foot, keeping our glutes tight. Now we'll bend our elbows next to our ears, put our hands down on the mat, and press up into a full wheel pose. Just for a moment, breathing deeply. Remember to always breathe. Even if you can't hold a pose, just lay down or go in a child's pose and breathe. For our next pose, we'll roll on our side and tuck our feet beneath our hips. Alternatively, you can sit on your legs, folded like this, and then lower back. You can stay on your elbows like I am here, or you can raise your hands over your head. You can lay your arms alongside your body, sort of reaching past your heels. Supine thunderbolt pose. This is very beneficial for digestion, flexibility, circulation. Next, we'll switch to sitting. You can keep your legs straight in front of you, your back straight, stretching up to the sky for staff pose. This is very effective. Or you can do a seated forward bend, grabbing onto your toes and pulling your torso forward, trying to bend over your knees and stretch your head to the top of your mat. Now find your way to plank any way you'd like. Step your right foot up next to your left hand and straighten the leg as much as you can. Maybe wiggle it, maybe straighten, then bend to adjust. We'll stretch that IT band. And then lower down into a pigeon pose. Breathing deeply here into that right thigh, preparing for our next back bend. King pigeon pose. Holding that back foot, stretching that back thigh and hip flexor, reaching our torso up to the sky, maybe raising our right arm, looking up if that feels okay. And then preparing the other side, find yourself in downward dog or plank and step that left foot next to the right hand. Straighten the leg for an IT band stretch there. Adjust as many times as you need to. And then lower into pigeon pose, resting your forehead on your arms. Or maybe staying propped up on straightened arms, hands on the mat, and looking up or looking forward if that feels better. Breathing into that left hip. And we'll crawl up and grab that right foot for king pigeon pose, stretching the crown of the head up to the sky, maybe lifting that left hand up, keeping your hand in Gya Mudra, looking up to the sky if that feels good to you. Breathing deeply. When you're ready, we'll end up in lotus position at the top of the mat and do some Kundalini exercises, windmilling the torso, leading with our chest. Starting towards the left, breathing in as we reach forward and exhaling as we reach back. And then switching the position of your legs and windmilling to the other side. Just starting at our tailbone, windmilling our entire spine. When you're ready, we'll stay still and breathe in and hold our breath, tightening our sex organs, belly for our mula band, trying to coax the spinal fluid up to our third eye, just envisioning that oxygen and energy traveling up our spine, letting it go, then sitting on the feet. We'll do some bends, inhaling, stretching the chest forward, exhaling, stretching back. These are short, shallow breaths. It's called breath of fire. The breath is the most important part. Even if you get tired of doing the movements, just stay with your breath. Then when we're done, we'll sit as still as possible, holding our breath in, tightening mula band, envisioning that spinal fluid traveling up the spine to the crown of the head, tightening the abdomen, and then letting it go, and just breathing naturally here. Then when you're ready, we'll release the feet, straighten the legs, and slowly lower down to our final position, Savasana, corpse pose. And just bask in the energy you've created. Breathe. Rest. Stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, bend one knee up towards your chest. Let it fall to the opposite side. here, I'm pressing my right knee towards the ground, keeping my shoulders anchored to the mat, letting my right arm reach. Now I'm switching to the other side, hugging the left knee towards my chest, letting it fall, pressing it down towards the ground and reaching the left hand to the opposite side, looking over my shoulder. Now we'll hug both knees to the chest and roll up to seated position. Put your hands in Gya Mudra here, or prayer, and just thank yourself for being faithful to your body and your health. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Namaste.